brother, my brother.
Peace, King. How you feeling?
Hey man, I know I made it now, brother. I know I made it, brother.
How you feeling?
Man, blessings, man. How you doing, man?
All is well. All is well, man. I gotta let you know I'm proud of you, man. Keep up the great work.
Thank you,
You've been
brother.
doing it for a long time. Consistency.
Man, brother, you a giant, man. And I always tell you the story, man. One day I was driving and I seen you walking down Superior over there. He was close to like 55th. And I was like, man, they have no idea, man, who's freaking walking down this street, man. This is a giant. And it just, you know what that moment made me do, man? It made me, Bismillah, it made me be more mindful of what I don't know and deal with people like they are all God's friends, man. Cause you just don't know. And I'm like, yo, how many people don't walk past this brother walking down Superior and just thought that this dude was just a regular dude walking down the street, like not knowing that this is a historian, a world traveler, that they just stopped them and just asked where you been, their mind would be blown. So I just wanted to just acknowledge, man, your greatness. You don't need me to do that, you know it, but you know bright light, brother, bright light.
Likewise, King. I really appreciate that, man. You definitely inspiring me constantly, keeping me on my toes. So it's definitely an honor to have you on, man. For the viewers who may not recognize you, let them know who you are and where you from.
Blessings, man. My name is Basheer Jones. Bashir means bring of good news. That's the meaning of my name. Bring of good news. My mother named me after my father. Born in Brooklyn, New York. Uh, Came to my adopted mother, Cleveland, Ohio. And Cleveland, Ohio is the city that raised me. I always tell people, man, the spirit of Brooklyn is in me, but my heart came from Cleveland. My heart came from Cleveland, man. And grew up here in the city since I was about 8 years old, 7, 8 years old. Uh, Went to Case Elementary, MLK Middle School, MLK High School. Graduated from there, went off to Morehouse College in Atlanta, Georgia, and came back, man, and continued to work in a different way. But since I was 12, been serving the city of Cleveland, man, from picking up picking up trash on Lexington and reading to the babies at Lexington Bell as a middle schooler, as an elementary school student, to where I am today. So I got such an affection for Cleveland. I love the city, man, and I love the people of the city. I'm saying I love the city. I love Clevelanders. I mean, I love the city, man. The city is a it's a beautiful city, man. I didn't appreciate it before, but I'm in the season now where I'm appreciative of the four seasons, even if it's all in one day. Uh, I'm appreciative of this access to this water, the largest freshwater body of fresh water in the world. We right here off of so there's a lot of vibrations in this city, man, and a lot of potential.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Cleveland got so much potential, and likewise, I could say I done took the city for granted. Like we say, we got that beautiful lake right there with fresh water, and there's so many places on earth that wish they had a lake, and a lot of us don't take advantage of even going up there, going to Edgewater.
Real, man, that's real, bro. You right about that.
Let me see. Now I gotta ask you. Now you said you moved from New York to Cleveland. What was that transition like for you? Was it a rough transition? Because as kids we don't like moving. I used to move around a lot when I was young, and I hated it.
Man, you right, brother. It plays a major part in my uh, in traumas that I have to work through as an adult. Cause I've moved, man, probably 20 times in my life, man. We moved from New York. Originally, we moved to New York. Then from New York, we went to Fayetteville. We went to Fayetteville, North Carolina. So I used to live in Fayetteville. Then from Fayetteville, we moved to Cleveland. Then from Cleveland, we moved back to New York. And we moved around Ravenna, New York, Albany, New York. Then we moved back to New York, Cleveland. And then within Cleveland, we moved around. So when we moved here, man, we lived in the homeless shelters here, Salvation Army, and that's why, I mean, I got a lot of love for the Catholic Church. I got a lot of love for, you know, their. I don't think there's a religious faith that has done more for the black community than the Catholic Church. I mean, from the schools to the food pantries to the service, man, they're the best, man. Honestly, as far as their services. And but it played a tough part. It was very impactful for me, man. Because I just never had a lot of friends. I mean, I had friends, but it was like, damn, man, I gotta go. So I gotta roll. So instability comes from that. And you say that you asked the question. We just left New York, which was a bigger ghetto for a smaller ghetto, and the poverty here in Cleveland is actually more constrained. It's more constrained. It's on top of each other. And Cleveland being what some say the most southern of the northern cities. Even still, Cleveland is one of the most segregated cities in the country. Cleveland, Ohio. Um, Still pockets of serious segregation, whether the Chinese or the Asians are right here, the blacks are right here, the whites are right here, the Puerto Ricans are right here. And I mean, you can go to other cities and kind of see, Chinatown or whatever, but overall, you know, you go to other cities, there's more of a mixture. Here, man, it ain't no, yo, you could live on the east side of Cleveland and never go to the west side. And that's what led me, beloved, to my Cat Williams moment. As you're the first podcast that I'm doing as I lead up to a podcast that I will want you to be at, um, where really go deep into what the hell is going on in Cleveland, man. There's something seriously going on in Cleveland, and it ain't by happenstance. And what people need to understand, Marcus Garvey said, power only concedes the power. If you think that this stuff is coincidence, then you don't understand the language of power. There's nothing coincidental about power. Everything is methodically planned. Everything is methodically put together. And we just kind of like, we just kind of falling into it. Carter G. Woodson said in his Miseducation of the Negro, he said, even if there is no back door, we so used to going through it, we will create it. So this is our condition of programming here in our city, man, unfortunately. So, yeah, but I think waking up to it, understanding it, I think will allow people to go in a different light. This is my intentions.
Oh yeah, no doubt. We could definitely talk about that. A lot of people, they do want change, but maybe they don't know how to go about doing it, especially for our people. If you could kind of speak towards that, because we always kind of talk about the problems, like Cleveland and a lot of other cities in America. We've been going through this thing from our parents' generation to before then. So, where do we go moving forward in terms of a solution, just from your perspective?
Well, I think the first thing people need to understand is that God has given us all a spiritual GPS. You don't need for me to give you a solution. The solution is already inside of you. My goal, in the words of Socrates, who said that the goal of the teacher to the student is not, is like the midwife to the pregnant woman. It's to pull out what already exists within. So the goal is to really wake people up to their greatness, and their solution will manifest to them because the solution is within. Their light is within them. This is not me putting light into them. This is me trying to remove the darkness that makes them see that makes them underestimate their own light. You know, I want you to know that you are not going crazy. You're not like you're not tripping. It is something going on. And there are people who are a part of the going on, and they look like you and me, and some of them they don't. But they are a part of the gatekeepers of this city that are benefiting from the programming and oppression of the city and of individuals. And you could not agree all you want, but the proof is in the pudding. The proof is travel around in this city. And if that young boy right there from 55th, if he don't be exposed to something greater than where he is, then he gonna be exactly where his mother is, where his grandmother is, and he gonna raise his children there. So we got to expose. How is it possible that you have, you know what I'm saying, these resources that are available to some but not available to all? Now, the easiest thing for people to say is, well, man, if you just, you know what I'm saying, if you just like, do better, man, just go to school. Just go to school, stay out of trouble. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna get opportunities. Man, that's a damn lie. I know. Look at every major institution in the city of Cleveland. Every major, from Cleveland Clinic, from Cleveland Foundation to the Gun Foundation to the corporation called Cleveland. Look at every, politically, educationally, medically, you know what I'm saying, financially, as far as the banking system, and go and see if you're gonna find anybody who's leading those organizations who are Clevelanders, who are black, who are Clevelanders, and you might even find somebody that's black, but I can guarantee you they're not from Cleveland. They didn't go through the Cleveland experience. And what I mean by that is they didn't go to elementary school, and middle school and high school, and then left the college and then came back. If you really want to make a change in this city, wouldn't it be better to work with the people and be led by people who have overcome the Cleveland experience and who decided to come back and do something to make it better? Because a lot of cats who done had the Cleveland experience, they had to leave, and they left, and they now live in Atlanta. They live in DC. They live in Chicago because they couldn't find opportunities here in Cleveland. Why is that? Why is that? That's the question that I want people to begin to ask. And you don't need my answer. Just ask the right questions, and then the answers will manifest to you, and the solutions will.
Oh yeah, no doubt. You made a very, very important point. It's something I think it's called like brain drain, when like you have a country and they biggest and brightest and most exceptional people to make it, they'll always go to another country. And if that continues to happen, it's like taking the diamonds or the minerals and constantly extracting them. And Cleveland is a perfect example of that, because some of the most talented and creative people have came out of the city, but they got to go to LA, they got to go to Atlanta, they got to go to New York.
Why? Why you think, beloved?
I mean, just from my own personal experience, like you say, I feel like the racism here, or the segregation and the discrimination is 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 higher here. You know what I'm saying? In comparison to say like maybe in Atlanta, or a city where you might have more established outlets where you can try to make your move or whatever. So
That's it. That's it. It's not beneficial for the corporation of Cleveland for the city to be less violent. It's not beneficial for the corporation called Cleveland for the city to be, the things that affect our everyday lives is not beneficial for those things to go away. There's money in poverty. There's money in violence. There's money in murder. There's money from it. You know what I'm saying? If there's less violence, then you need less police officers. You need less judges. You need less attorneys. There's a whole criminal system. Cuyahoga County is one of the worst counties in the country in regards of overly criminalizing, overly charging, overly prosecuting anyone, especially black and brown people. Why? Why? Who benefits from it? You have to always ask the question, who benefits from it? Because it's not us. We don't benefit from it. We are susceptible to the consequences of it. We live right next door to the killers and the rapists and the pedophiles, and we live right next to it, right? So for us who have had the experience, you should be running to us to say, hey man, we need your. If you truly wanted to end the violence in East Cleveland too. If you truly wanted to end the violence in Cleveland, east side of Cleveland, you truly wanted to bring this stuff down, you would work with the people who have been through it. And it's not good for the corporation of Cleveland. So what I want for people to begin to understand is forget the messenger, because you may not rock with me, and that's cool too. You know what I mean? We all have our, I was talking to somebody the other day, beloved, and I said, the tree responds to the seasons in different ways. So how the tree responds in the winter is not how the tree responds in the spring, but it's still a tree. So I want you to understand that these different seasons of your life is you're going to respond in different ways, but remain a tree and to remain rooted to you know what I'm saying, to your ancestral path. You know what I'm saying? Remain rooted to that. And then that's where your success comes from. So despite what you feel about the messenger, I want you to begin to conversate about the message. Why are black people suffering in the city of Cleveland where you have majority politicians are black? Let's just start right there. Why is it that you can, when you talk to your council member, you talking to them mother suckers about garbage cans and raccoons, but when they talk to other people, they talking about multi-million-dollar deals? Why is that? Why hasn't there been a shift in the wealth gap here in the city? Why don't we have no new black millionaires in Cleveland? And I'm telling you we don't. I'm telling you we don't. I can have on my hand, I'm talking about above board, because I'm sure some cats, you know what I'm saying, making some money in a different way. But above board, man, man, you won't. If we got more than 10, if we got more than 10, man, I'd be surprised. 10 millionaires too, by the way. And I'm not talking about like hundreds of millions neither. I'm talking about five. I'm talking about 10. I'm talking about 20, 25. You would have to show me, because majority of them I know. Majority of them I know. Their wealth can't touch the Ratner's wealth. Can't touch it. And if you don't know who the Ratners are, then I'm giving you something that you don't know, that you need to do your research and have an understanding about. They can't touch it. And because they can't touch that wealth, they can't touch that political power. So those black faces that you see at city council, man, they're just black faces, man. They black faces, man, that are black faces for a bigger agenda. It's a bigger agenda that black people are puppets of. They're puppets of.
Okay, okay. Now I wanted to ask you because you have a lot of insight to things that the average Clevelander may not be privy to, because you was a councilman, you ran for mayor, so you got a lot of experience politically. When you try to interact with, like you say, other black politicians about these issues, what is their response? Is there immediate response to work with you, and then they don't follow through, or do they immediately, try to step away from what you're trying to do?
They fearful, man. They fearful. They fearful, and they know that standing with me means them losing their job or losing their reputation or losing this and losing that. And they don't want to lose that, but they're not afraid of losing. They're not afraid of losing the people, because they know the people are easily manipulated. You can easily manipulate the people. I mean, look at the last mayoral election. I mean, that's just a perfect sign for you. And this is not like something personal. At one point, it was. At one point, it was personal for me, because it was amazing what I was watching before my eyes. You know what I'm saying? Someone who the majority of the people on the ground wasn't aware of, but the infrastructure and members of the infrastructure, people of the high, you know what I'm saying, black middle class, and they knew the individual, but most people on the ground didn't know. But they know that people on the ground are easily manipulated. Just bring chicken dinners. Bring chicken dinners, some gift cards, do some dancing, make people laugh, and be black. And black people gonna go with it. Black people gonna go with it. So but ain't nobody. Perfect example is, look at what's happening with this issue with Palestine. That's a perfect example. You would somebody say, well, Basheer, why do y'all care about city of Cleveland as a city? Like what they care about, international issues. Okay, if that's the case, then why even get involved? Why even say I'm standing with Israel? Why even say that? If it's that, so if it's like something we shouldn't be worried about, why say that? Because they were made. They were made. Okay, they were made, brother. You better not say nothing opposite than that. Unfortunately, man, a lot of our people, man, they walk into rooms and they bend over and get on their knees before they even ask, man. They not even asked to do it. They just do it. They walk in doing it. You know what I'm saying? So when you have somebody who is like, man, What's going on with this system, man? Well, we majority black city, the majority of the police officers ain't. The majority of the teachers ain't. The majority of the firemen ain't. These are all like, these are all jobs, man, that the average Clevelander can go and get and create wealth for their family. If we had a bunch of young, if you have a neighborhood where the men or the women are firemen or nurses or teachers, or that's a middle class neighborhood. That's a middle class neighborhood. So if you stop them from being able to get those jobs, then what else? What other job is available for us if we can get that? Janitors, valet, cooks, the lowest class of jobs. So we basically just surviving, man. So that means that mama, man, she got two or three of those jobs. It ain't enough to take care of home. So who looking after her kids? What are kids doing? The father's probably not there, so now all of the bills and stuff is on the mother's back. What daddy doing? Where daddy at? He's probably has some issues with the law because he didn't finish up school for whatever the case, because he was a child that was in Cleveland, that the high lead issues in the paint. Most of the houses in the city of Cleveland, you understand, have issues with lead in the paint, lead in the soil, lead in the water pipes. So now he grew up with the IEP, an individual educational plan. He grew up what they would call ADHD. You know what I'm saying? He grew up with lead in his system. He grew up in neighborhoods that had lack of resources. So what did he do? And he hung with other kids who had a lack of resources. And what do a bunch of kids with a lack of resources do? They go find something to do. They go find trouble to get into. They find blah blah blah. The little kids in our neighborhood ain't no different from little kids in other neighborhoods. They get into the same young person's problems, but the consequences is different. The consequences are different for black children making mistakes than it is for other children. So now that man, that young boy who became a man, now he doesn't got brushes with the law because a traffic stop for him could mean death. A traffic stop for him can mean a felony. A traffic stop for him, his brush with the police could mean something totally different than little Billy's brush with the police on the west side or in Solon or in wherever. So now these are the family structures. So now you got mothers who are stressed out working all these different jobs, fathers who are, you can't even get government assistance if the father is involved. You can't even get no government assistance. So now you got a broken family, mothers working, overworking themselves, children who are raising themselves, and this is the cycle in our. So what you think? What you think? You think that, and then they go to school and the food is terrible, the educational system is terrible, the classes is overcrowded. You people may say, well, shit, you just talking about the problems. No, you need to know the problems. You'll find the solution for yourself. That's how brilliant you are. You'll figure the solution out. You don't need me to tell you the solution. But what you need me is to wake your ass up. That's what you need from me. You need for me to let you know that you are not crazy. You are not schizophrenic. You are not, bipolar. You're not those things. What you are experiencing is a real thing and is methodic. And this is the way of power. It's a machine that benefits off of the lives and the oppression of black people and poor people.
Yeah, man. You said so much, brother. I mean, like you say, a traffic stop can mean death. Something so simple could be a nightmare for a black man, even a black woman, a black child, and their family. You know what I'm saying? Even if they are innocent, and it's unfortunate. You talked about lead in the soil. I've been buying up, plots of land in Cleveland. I have an urban garden. So when they have these dilapidated houses, they're supposed to take that wood that's with the lead out of there, but a lot of the companies, they trying to save money, so they knock the wood in the ground, but people don't know it, so they growing their tomatoes and strawberries and raspberries, and then they feeding it to their babies.
Come
So
on.
like you say, that's something the average person, they're not knowledgeable about that. So I appreciate you,
And, that,
sharing things like
and
that.
guess when it happened? It happened during Mayor Michael White's time. Okay? Mayor Michael White allowed developers to knock down houses and to put it into the ground. You'll be surprised how much land in our neighborhoods on the east side of Cleveland if you dig it up, there's whole houses under the ground. There's rusted furnaces under the ground. Now, Mayor Mike White is the Mayor Mike Mayor Bibb couldn't have won without Mayor Mike White. Okay? Mayor Mike White is the darling of the power structure of the city. He is the black face. He is the black face, the black person of this city that the power structure depends upon to rally black people, to rally black pastors, to rally black clergy, to rally black, activists or whatever. The Mayor White in probably in the history of Cleveland, definitely in modern day politics, had ran the best campaign that had ever been ran. And the second one is probably the one that we just experienced with Mayor Bibbs. Mayor White was behind Mayor Bibbs, So you have to ask yourself, you have to be a type of person. You may say, well, you got to be able to work with all people. That's fine, but not to the degradation of our community, not to the degradation. Well, Bashir, what you talking about? All right, just pay attention. If politicians have the power to make sure that certain institutions do what they're supposed to do. You can look back at Carl Stokes, man. Carl Stokes, he had an amazing book. I forget the name of it, and I read the whole thing. It's an amazing book. And as you know, Carl Stokes was the first black mayor of a major city, and not just a major city, but a city where the majority of the demographics was white at the time. And he won. He won against. He won against. He won against. I forget. I don't know if it's Voinovich. I don't. I think Voinovich was already in. I'm not. I don't remember. But in a major reason.
Man, you must have been dropping too much knowledge for them. They done kicked us off the thing or kicked me off.
Kicked us both off. They kick you off.
Yeah, man, I apologize about that. I'm in Ghana, by the way, so my internet was working, so it wasn't the internet. It was
Oh,
the
man,
platform.
you down there, man. I got my folks out there, man.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it, man. I'm enjoying it. But man, you were saying so much. I wanted to ask you this. And I don't know if you touched on it. For the viewers, the racial discrimination is so systematic. Like you're talking about the construction workers, the school system, the judicial system. So is it even possible to utilize, voting and politics to, just for example, a person say, okay, I'm gonna vote for you based upon what you're going to do. Is that an effective means to bring about change? Because
I
you experienced in that field.
Yeah, brother. I think that what Jay Z said, man. You was who you was before you got here. You know what I mean? So the thing to do is like pay attention to who they were before they got there. And in no other way of life can a person take a position and you never knew them. You can't walk through people's neighborhoods and you don't know nobody. You can't become a part of a fraternity and sorority. You can't say I'm a part of this fraternity or sorority and nobody ever saw you. You can't say that you can't do business saying that I can't come to you and be like I'm a billionaire and I don't show a proof of funds. Like everybody wants proof. So you have to be the same way with these politicians. Why are black people suffering in Cleveland? I'm gonna tell you right now, black people are a part of it. Black people are part of it. And if you ask the question, why, something simple. Why can't black people, why hasn't there been a shift of wealth for black people? Now they may say, well, you got to get your licenses. You got to do this. They try to give you all this stuff. Yo, there's people that's doing all that. And they still can't get opportunities. So what's the solution? The solution is first you need to recognize, stop being so damn gullible. Stop being gullible. The solution is you need to travel the world and see outside of Cleveland so that you can see the tricks more easily. Maybe that you're so susceptible to the tricks because you only know what you know. But as you travel the world, you'll start asking the question, how is it possible in Cleveland, majority black politicians and black people are suffering the way that they're suffering? East side of Cleveland look the way it looks and has been looking the same way for the past 25 years and even more than that. Why? Why aren't you asking why? And why are you just going along with politicians who only show up on election day but don't fight on your behalf while they are in office? They go in and they become a part of the system and they become silent about black suffering. That's what's happening. That's exactly what's happening. And then if you say something, oh man, you hating. Oh man, you just trying to stop a black man from no. You can't use those tactics. No other community allows it. The Jewish community doesn't allow it. The Italian community don't allow it. The Irish community here, these are all prominent communities in the city of Cleveland. None of them allow it. Only black people allow black people to get in position and don't do for black people. Only black people do it. Nobody else does it. There's no consequences for hurting black people. There's no consequences for not making sure black people benefit from the position. And you got in there to help black people, not help us survive, but help us thrive, man. And for every black politician, whether you a state rep, whether you know, it's harder when you a state rep because you're going out there and it's majority Republican, so it may be a little bit tougher. But you may have to work your hand in a different way. But in city council, in county council, why isn't there a focus on we're going to make sure a percentage of the jobs, a percentage of the contract? Now they may say, well, Basheer, the Fannie Lewis law does make sure, actually, they struck that law down. That basically said a percentage of all city contracts got to go to minorities. Well, what the hell does that mean? What does that mean? If 15% of contracts got to go to minorities, what does that mean? Does that mean black people? No, it means women. It means Hispanic. It means anybody that's quote unquote considered the minority. We need things that's specific for black people. We need things. We got our own issues that need to be addressed. City of Cleveland needs to give reparations to black people because they played a part. The corporation of Cleveland played a part. The banks of Cleveland played a part in the redlining that took place and the lack of wealth distribution. We can't even get a secure credit card from banks that are making money off of the people of the neighborhood, even though they have the CRA, Community Reinvestment Act, but they're not investing like they should in our neighborhood, and the politicians can make them do it, but choose not to out of fear and out of I got this job, man, and I don't want to lose it. I get it, but let's just say what it is. Let's just say what it is, man, and that's the problem. And if they're not doing it, then question them about what I'm saying. Question them, and if they're close with you, they ain't gonna have no choice but to agree with you. You're right. You're right. You're right. The east side is worse off than the west side. But there are pockets of the west side that are experiencing poverty. But this story that I'm telling is not a Cleveland-owned story. It is a story of inner cities across the country. It is unfortunately our American experience as black people in this country. And that's why I'm happy that you're in Ghana, brother, because I'm sure you experience in life in a different way. The stress of being black in America, man, it's a real stress that has real consequences. It has health consequences, it has financial consequences. It's a real tangible consequence of being black in America. So what do? Man, you got to get up out this country. At least travel. At least expose yourself to other understandings and perspectives so that you can, if you're going to come back, you make a change.
Man, most definitely. You gotta travel. Gotta have that global perspective, man. Being a black man in America is like equivalent to smoking cigarettes. You gonna have health problems. You know what I'm saying? So in Ghana, I could be as black as I want to be. I could be my natural born black self. You know what I'm saying? And
Mm.
that's just a feeling that money can't buy. But like you said, we still got to do what we got to do back in Cleveland. You know, the black people, we are a part of it. We got to have some accountability for the things that we do and don't do. And like I could say from experience for myself, my last two or three councilmen or councilwomen, I reached out to them. You know what I'm saying? Not just when I needed something, but getting to know them, sitting down with them, having conversations with them, building relationships with them. We got to hold ourselves accountable to communicate and understand who we dealing with. If we don't know the person, get to know them, do our research before we vote for them, and then when we come to the table as a group and say we want these things, I think we'll have a much better chance of getting them.
For sure. And it's important that we are supportive of them because as a community, we don't support them I remember this, brother. I remember this. So when I was in city council, I tried to establish and I tried to remove Columbus Day. I tried to remove Columbus Day and implement Indigenous People Day. And boy, when I did that, man, I had council members who said, "Hey, you on your own on this one." Now, before I got into council, I'm like, man, we got to remove Columbus Day. We on that vibe, man. Man, when I tried to do that, man, probably 300 Italian Clevelanders came out. Imagine that they all coming out. They were seniors too, bruh. They was on their canes and shit, man. They was like, I look up in the crowd, man. I ain't see five black people. I ain't see five indigenous people. Matter of fact, the indigenous people of the city, the First Nation, Native, what you call Native Americans, they didn't support it because they felt like, well, Bashir, we want a removal of Columbus Day. We don't want just Indigenous People Day. So they didn't come and support me. Black people didn't come and support me. 300 Italian Americans came to oppose me, and I still stood up and said Columbus was a murderer and it needs to be removed. But that had an impact on. It was a battle that I didn't even have to take. So you want. We have to be the backbone for these black politicians. We have to be their backbone as a community and support them. If we don't support them, they're targets. Like I've been a target. I'm a target. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna always be a target. I'm gonna always be a target because I'm never gonna stop. No matter who shows up and who don't show up, the Most High is in control. And along the way, along the journey, mistakes is gonna be made. I've made a ton of mistakes. Some of which I've faced the consequences before, and some consequences I'll have to face. But I won't ever. I don't care how big my factory of skeletons are. I ain't gonna stop doing this work because we all got skeletons. And if we let out some people's skeletons, boy, some of those skeletons ain't skeletons. They full live bodies in closets and factories. So I don't let that stop us holding people accountable. Hold me accountable, but I want you to hold everybody accountable, starting with yourself. What can you do better in your community? Don't worry about the trash that's in front of your neighbor's house. Pick up that damn trash that's been in front of your house for weeks. Pick it up. Take care of your children. Take care of your babies, and then from there, take care of you make sure your neighbors are good. Then from there, make sure your block is good, and then from there, make sure your neighborhood is good, and then from there, make sure your district is good, and then from there, make sure your city is good. And then what will end up happening is you will impact the world by first focusing on the galaxy within. Once you focus on that galaxy, our spiritual teachers say the goal is not to put you on the path of God. The goal is to remove the blinders that make you believe that you are not already in the presence of God. You are already there. You are already in the presence. You know what I'm saying? But the key is to remove the darkness in our own hearts. And then the light will shine. And then the solution that you're looking for, because your solution on your path may not be my solution on my path. But God has given us all different solutions and lights and paths and journeys. And right now our journey has come together, and at some point maybe it'll go in different ways. That's the spirituality that we need in this city, the sense of accountability that we need from every individual. We all play a part. But you can't be a coward. You can't have faith and have fear, or fear that debilitates you. You got to choose.
Oh yeah, no doubt, King. I just want to thank you again for all the sacrifices that you done made, because I only can imagine everywhere you go, people know who you are, and you constantly fighting for what's right and fighting for our people. And I know sometimes they done disappointed you and let you down. It's a lot of instances where we could have showed up tenfold for you, and I don't understand why we don't. We'll say protect Cat Williams, but we won't protect Bashir. We won't protect our freedom fighters, the people that's risking their actual freedom and lives and safety for our people. We could do a lot more for them, man.
It's a blessing, man. This is our way, man. This is our way, man. You know, the Floyd Mayweathers, the LeBrons. Well, I don't put Floyd and LeBron on the same level. I think LeBron is, on a whole nother level. But the Floyd Mayweathers, for example, who we honor and respect for their sports ability, but they are not our teachers in regards of fighting for justice. Our teachers are the Muhammad Ali's and the Malcolms and the Jim Browns and the Fannie Lou Hamers and the Harriet Tubmans. Like these are our teachers. Where you are now in Ghana, man, our W.E.B. Du Bois, man. You know what I'm saying? Lumumba, man. All these giants, man, that have come out of this world. We follow their path, and um, standing ovations ain't necessary. Is I'm just clear about my purpose, and there's consequences that come with it. But we're fine with the consequence. The consequences of my words is much less. The consequences of my words is much less than the spiritual consequences of being silent. You know what I'm saying? So whatever consequence they give us for our words and our actions is much less than the consequences of us doing nothing and remaining silent in the face of this atrocity. So we accept it.
And we suffering anyway, man. We suffering anyway. It'd be different if we was living good and having our way. We are suffering. We gonna suffer either way, so we might as well fight for a cause. So I just want to let you know I'm proud of you. I love what you're doing, and if you ever need me, I'm only one man, but if I could help out or contribute or anything within my power, I'm with you, brother.
And you've done it, man. You're a giant, brother. Keep on exposing the world to who we are. And you as you travel, man, you'll be in some cases the only African American that they'll ever meet. And you give them a good opinion through your actions. You give them a good opinion of us. So thank you for your travels. Thank you for what you're doing. And thank you for the impact that you've had on this world. Thank you, brother.
Facts, facts. I appreciate you, King. So I'm gonna just thank the viewers for tuning in. This has been a great episode, definitely. Man, until next time, Taye Speaks, King. Peace.
Salute, salam.